Hey, hello, welcome to Code with Valmor. This is another code around. Here we are extending the work we did on the third one. If you recall, on the third one we didn't implement the remove functions. Right, so here I'm putting together the use cases for testing. We're gonna add 2 players at the beginning, then we are printing the list of players, then we are removing player with ID 1, then we are printing the list again, then we add 2 more players, 3 and 4, their IDs, and then we are removing player with ID number 2, and then we print again. So I'm putting notes there for the expected lists. Okay, so let's see how it goes. So that's on the app.c. Here coming to players. On the players we have the placeholder for remove player by ID. Putting some notes there. So let's see. How do you guys think we're gonna find the ID there? So we need to search, right? Searching requires a loop. So let's put a loop in there. I don't like loops. Like I said on the other video, loops may cause delay on processing large amounts of data. So better to use different data structure if we have large amount of data. All right, let's see. It's a simple loop starting from 0 until the last valid index, right? And then we are going to add an if to check the ID. If the ID I'm receiving is equal to one of the IDs there on the array, then that's the moment to remove. That's the guy to be removed. I'm going to do some other modifications here. As you will see on the video, I will change the return value for this function to be Boolean in order to know when I'm calling it. I want to know if the removing was success or not. I'm also changing the return function for returning type for the other function there at line 36 to remove player by name. Okay, Valmor, why are you implementing removing by ID first? Because removing by name can reuse it. Okay, so when I'm removing by name, I just need to find the name on the array, and by finding the name, I can also get the ID, and then I just need to call the function which removes by ID. So I'm good. Okay, let's see how the code goes here. All right. So now what I'm doing, like I told you guys, I like to go top down on the implementation to put the ideas together, and then it's easier for me to identify moments when I'm writing the code where I need to make it easier for reading. Okay, and that's one of the cases. Instead of writing all the logic here to remove and move the data on the array, I'm just creating another function there with a name that has a good meaning, you know, and then when I'm for example, later on when I need to change or fix a bug on the code, I just come here and then when I read it, it's easy to understand what it's doing. Okay, so here I'm just writing there remove and move. It's going to be a private function, meaning that it's not defined on the .h file. The .h file is the public interface for our module, and I don't want the developers using my library here to use remove and move. It's something I'm using internally. Here you guys can see I'm changing the return type there to be more meaningful for me. And then I need to change, of course, on the .h file because, like I said, that the .h file, the header file, is the public interface for my library. Yeah, that's it. Keep going. All right. So remove and move. Let's see. Okay, so the function at line 31 is removing by ID, right? So it receives the ID to be removed from the array, right? Inside of it, we are searching by the index of that ID on the array. So now at line 36, I have the ID. So what I will do is I will implement that function remove and move from index. Okay, because now I'm converting a lot, let's say a top level attribute or data, right? The ID, the player ID, I'm converting into something internally to my implementation, which is the index of that ID on the array. Of course, I don't need to tell you that the IDs are unique, right? So that's another improvement we can do later, like generating the ID internally and checking if the ID already exists or not. But anyways, it's something for you guys to exercise maybe and ask me questions. So we can interact, right? Let's start interacting here on the comments. Okay, one more. How to declare a private function? All right, we need to declare or implement before we use, right? I'm taking the option of declaring the function first at the beginning of my .c file, right? And then I have my public and my other functions after the declaration. And I'm doing the implementation of the private functions after, right? After the public interface of my library. So here, yeah, I'm putting a note there. So here is the place where looking into that chart number 2 can help. And let's implement. So there are 3 use cases that we may consider here if we are removing the first element of the array, the last element of the array, and then any other element of the array, right? In between the first and the last. The last element of the array is given to us by the that variable contains the index where I want to add a new player, right? Of course, if the index is greater or is equal to 100, on our case here, it's not possible to add, right? But anyways, if, for example, if we have 100 players added, okay, index to add player is 100, I want to check the latest one, so it's going to be in position 99, right? So that's why the -1 there at line 65. After looking into this code, if you keep going here, you're gonna see that the logic to remove the first or any other element of the array is the same. So we are creating another private function just to deal with that logic there. All right. Yeah. So here I'm creating another private function, like I said, to do a specific part of my logic. So I'm trying to give it a name that makes sense on the context here. So I'm planning to move down the array, the data on the array, starting from position 0, on that case at line 65, and for any other index, if the case is going to be this case there. All right, as you can see, the way I call the function is the same, and of course at line 65, the index, the value of that variable index is gonna be 0, so it's gonna be the same function call there. So maybe we can reorganize the logic here to simplify it a little longer, simplify a little more. So let's see, let's reorganize. Let's use just one if to check if we are removing the latest element of the array. If that's the case, we just decrement index to add player, because then that variable is pointing to one position that was holding data, valid data, but we are invalidating that data by changing the index where I'm adding a new player. All right, let's see the logic there. What do you guys think? Is it going to have a loop inside or not? Yeah, probably having a loop. Yes, because we are dealing with an array, right? So we just go over the array sequentially here. There is one way to improve this by trying to go or trying, for example, the searching, right? We can do the search from the beginning and from the end up to 0, and beginning up to the middle of the the array, just to speed up a little more the searching. But anyways, we need those loops there. All right. So the loop here starts on the start position. It may be 0, may not be 0, depends on the which ID was I'm planning to remove, right? To make the code simpler, I'm creating 2 pointers, one to point to the element I'm removing, and another pointer to point to the next element. So I will copy the next element over the current element. All right. Another information here, for example, if we wanna get the next element of the array, but we are at the last position of the array. For example, index to add player is 100. The array is full, right? So it's 100. I cannot go until 99. I is gonna be less than 100, so 99. So the position 99 is the last position valid. So if I want to do I plus 1 at line 86, I can't go until 99. So I need to go until 98. So I take current P is pointing to position 98, and at line 86, I'm pointing to the player at position 99. And that's it. I cannot go further. So now I can just make the copy. So lines 8, 8 on will be copying from the next P into the current P. So I'm copying on that case, copying from 99, position 99 to position 98. I'm using pointers there, so I write less code. Okay, and I can keep the logic self-contained on the initial lines. So there I know where I'm pointing to, and then when I'm copying, I'm just copying. I could have created another private function just to do the copying, but in order to speed a little bit up, I'm just keeping like that. It's a simple copy, so no issues there. All right, let's go. Alright, here is where I told you guys I would be changing the logic. So if I'm removing the latest element of the array, then I just decrement the index to add player. If not, I'm just calling that private function to fixing on the positions. Now let's see what happens when we compile. So now the code is compiling. Let's go to the terminal. Let's go up a little bit. As you can see, there is a bug there. It's printing twice. Why is it printing twice? Where's the bug? The bug is on the logic moving data, or is on the logic which prints? So let's take a look on the print function which prints. To the latest, I mean, the loop can't go to 100. Max players is 100. We can't go there. What's the variable that tells me what's the latest valid element added? Yes, index to add player. So that's the guy. Alright, so now let's take another look. Let's see what it prints. Alright, see, printing second varmor. Let's take a look on all the outputs. So I was expecting to see first varmor and second varmor. Then I was expecting to see second varmor, then third and fourth varmor, and that's what happened. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe